Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, welcome back to the subject of Machine Design 1. We are right now learning the module number 6 where different designs associated with different types of springs are learned. In last session we have completed one numerical which is based on design of helical spring which undergo both static as well as the fluctuating loads. In today's session we are going to start with a new part of this lesson which is nothing but lip design or lip spring design. In the previous session, we have already seen different terminologies associated with lip spring and its significance. Let's quickly revise what are the significances, what are the terminologies, and what is the design procedure. So let's begin. So students, you can see on the screen different terminologies and the schematic associated with this lip spring given. If you see this properly, this is how the structure of lip spring is explained, where different plates of this particular schematic are used, where this particular thing or this particular dimension is called width of the lip spring. This is the thickness, and of course these are the different lengths. And if you see, there is a curvature, so there is always some radius associated with the lip spring. If you see, lip springs are made up of different plates of certain thickness and certain width, of which there are different sections which you can see, and there are different divisions for them. For example, if you see, the length of these springs or the lips are going to change or are changing gradually, and that's why they're called graduate level lips or graduated lips. The number can vary from 3 to 12 also, but it depends upon the given application. Further, if you see, two lip springs or two lips of that particular spring, they appear to be of same length and they are called full length springs. They may be 2 or 3 in numbers. And last one is the master lip. Master lip is the longest one and it has the ends bent so as to form the eyes. These are called the eyes of the lip spring. Now, when these eyes come into picture, the eyes are actually bolted together with the application. For example, vehicle, automobile, where these lip springs are used. So, the body of a vehicle will be bolted with this particular eye with the given lip spring. Further, if you see, the total force acting on that particular one lip spring is divided, or it is assumed to be divided into two sections. So, the load is 100 Newton or 100 kilonewton. 50 kilonewton on either side will be applied accordingly. Next is the center to center distance as far as the master lip spring is concerned. It is assumed that 2L is the length, so accordingly the parameter will change. If length is 100 mm, the center to center distance will become 200 mm, and so on. So these are the important terminologies. Now of course there are many assumptions which are made in the analysis of this spring, but since the syllabus is restricted to the design aspect and the applied design aspect, we are not going into the depth of the derivation part. Let me just tell you that the complete structure of lip spring, if you look at the force applied, it carries the transverse loads, and hence for transverse loads, whatever the stresses come into picture, maybe bending stresses, shear stresses, or any other normal stress are considered together for this particular derivation, and based on that certain formulas are made up, which we are going to look at in today's session. So there are few formulae which we have segregated based on the given course. Of course you can find all these formulae in the book of design data. So these are the 4 formulae which we are going to use for this particular numerical, and accordingly the terminologies are mentioned. This is the bending stress based on the load acting, the length, the number of lips. The total number of lips is of course the addition of graduated number of lips, the master lip, and the full length lip. So in that case, the full length lip plus graduated level lips numbers are collected to find the total number of lips. Then it is the width, and this is the thickness of any one lip, and hence it's the transverse load, the length, let's write it, center to center distance divided by 2. This is P maximum divided by 2. N is the number of lips. Then it's the width of a lip. It is the thickness of lip. This is the full length leaf or leaves number. This is the graduated leaves. This is the coefficient of elasticity or Young's modulus. C, as usual, is a relationship. And last is the length, which is already mentioned. So n is the total number of lips. Further, the index is specified using this empirical relation. Let me repeat that the course does not enter in the derivation part, so we are going to apply it directly, and you can find this formula in the book of design. And this is the pre-stress which is required to make the spring initially at the given equilibrium. Now this is an interesting topic we should discuss on. The structure says that they are curved in nature. Basically, the transverse load is going to act on them. Somehow, if you see, each and every spring which is graduated has different radius of curvature. In short, since they don't have the equal radius of curvature, they will have always some nipping point in between them. So nipping point is nothing but, for example, this is the 11th spring, and let us say this is the 12th spring. In that case, there is always some gap that remains between them just because the radial differences are there, and hence in order to make them one body, they are initially stressed by means of certain application. So they will be held together by means of certain load and certain bolts, and due to this water action takes place, that is called nipping of leaf. For this we require certain initial force, and that is called P initial. So it's like pre-stressed concrete blocks. We apply the stress initially so that they all will be brought together in this manner. So there's always some force acting already on that leaf, plus whatever the application load comes onto it, and that's why it is also an application of variable load formally. So as we were discussing about the initial load, this particular formula will give us the empirical relation between them. So with this particular formula, let us move ahead. Deflection of the given spring, leaf spring, will be the deflection or the individual deflection of each and every leaf and the addition, and hence to find out the maximum deflection experienced by this particular leaf, this is an empirical relation we can use. Of course, let me repeat that these relations are also provided in the design data book, so need not by heart them. Basically, the relation is made up of the force acting, the length, the Young's modulus, width, thickness, and the number of springs. So with this particular example, or with this particular numerical aspects, let us conclude that the design of leaf spring is based on mainly number of the leaves, the force, the length, and the material properties like elastic limit. In next session, we are going to look at the numerical based on leaf spring design. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to Ekeeda.